What's going on, everyone? So Jonas Valanciunas is available via trade. Now, he can't officially be traded until December 15th, but Washington is starting to field offers and, pick up, answer phone calls and stuff like that. And the Lakers have been heavily linked to Valanciunas, probably more than any center since the offseason, right? Because he just is the guy that has seemed most likely. Also, LeBron James is willing to take a discount in order to go and acquire him. He's having a good season. He's giving you like a double-double a night. Right? He can do a little bit of everything, stretch the floor slightly. He's not like elite in that regard, but he can stretch the floor a little bit. Great rebounder, guy that you can dump the ball down to and he can just go to work around the post. But also he's a guy that can make plays out of the post, right? His passing is a real underrated value of his game, right? Big body, come off the bench, slot in place of Anthony Davis when he goes and gets some rest or misses a game, and then also play alongside, right? And Anthony Davis can now be the help defender. You could be in good shape, good position there. And Valanciunas, 3-year, $10 million. Washington signed him to that deal in order to trade him. Like, that was the idea. Hey, let's bring him on, and then we can trade him to like one of these, veteran teams that need a center to try to go win a championship, such as the Lakers, right? Not just that, but personally, I think Valanciunas is probably the most likely bet, just on the fact that like the Lakers and Washington have a good relationship. They've made trades in the past, last few seasons. On top of that, Valanciunas, how many teams are going to be lining up to go get him? Now, he is cheap, but there's a lot of centers on the market, right? Like, maybe the Knicks would look to go and acquire him, but what are they going to give up, right? Like, what are they going to trade? Are they really going to trade Deuce McBride to go get Valanciunas? Probably not, right? Like, I just think the likelihood of the Lakers landing Valanciunas is very high, but also he's cheap enough to where you can still go get other moves and it won't hinder any other trades, right? You can go get a Valanciunas, still get a Cam Johnson and Dorian Finney-Smith, right? Like, or, you get a Cam Johnson and go get, Bruce Brown or something like that, right? Like, you still have options and flexibility in trades that can be done. Valanciunas is cheap enough to where, he's not like, like Day'Ron Sharp is like $4 or $5 million, right? Like, I don't even think he's that much. He's like under $4 million, but let's just say $4 million for sake, right? Like, he's not that cheap, but he's still very cheap compared to, say, a Nikola Vucevic, who's making double at $20 million, or even like a Brook Lopez, who's been linked to them. He's making $23 million, right? Even a guy like Clint Capella is making $20 million, right? So you just kind of go down the list, and it's like, okay, he makes the most sense. He's the most valuable. Question becomes, realistically, what are the Washington Wizards looking to acquire in a trade for Valanciunas, right? Are they looking to just sell him to the highest bidder, whatever it is? Or is it something where, no, we have to get a first. We have to get a young talent, whatever that may be, right? Because there's a lot of talk going around that of the Lakers trading for Valanciunas, which, again, I think is probably the most likely, but it's Gabe Vincent and a first for Valanciunas. A protected first is what is going around, right? No way. Zero shot. If you're the Lakers, I will lose my mind if they do that. Right? I like Valanciunas. He's not worth a first, right? Like, again, his age, his skill set, he's a guy that gets played off the court. Like, he's not this elite, star center or anything like that, to where it's like, or even like a mid-tier center or something. Nikola Vucevic might not even go for a first, and he's a better player, right? Chicago might not even, they want a first for him. They're probably not even going to be able to get a first for him. Like, you're not trading a first-round pick for Valanciunas. 2 seconds, sure. Like, maybe 3 seconds, I think, pushing a little bit. Again, he's not, if he was 25, yeah, maybe, because he's young enough that there's growth, there's upside potential. No, Valanciunas is already who he is. He's a very good center, don't get me wrong, but he's a backup. He's not a starter. At that point, just go get a Day'Ron Sharp and trade 2-3 first, or 2-3 seconds. Sorry, not first. 2-3 seconds to go get him. And he's half the price of Valanciunas, and he's 23 years old, right? Like, I'd rather you go do that or trade for Nick Richards or, if you have to give up a first for Valanciunas, you might as well just go get Walker Kessler. The Lakers go get Walker Kessler right now for Jalen Ojefino and 2 firsts, right? I'd rather that than, and I don't think that the Lakers should go anywhere near Walker Kessler for 2 firsts. And he's my second favorite. But I mean, if you're gonna have a first for Valanciunas, Walker Kessler's definitely worth 2 firsts, right? Like, because of his age, his defense, all of that, right? Like, there's just no shot at all that the Lakers would do that, right? Pelinka, 4 seasons ago, probably would have done that. The Pelinka now, who, to his credit, right, however you feel about him, he has done a much better job of being patient and writing things out, right? Like, that I do think deserves some warrant, right? I think that does deserve some credit because, look, Rob Pelinka 1 has made a trade every season except for last season. And early on, those first few years, I mean, he was just like, yeah, here, whatever you want, sure, just give us that guy, right? Like, it was almost like there was no negotiation. It was almost like yeah, sure, right? Like, it was like even the Westbrook trade, it was like, it just felt like, it was just like, yeah, sure, if that's what you want, yeah, here you go, right? Rather than like, it was like, did you even try to negotiate here? Was there like any type of dialogue, right? You couldn't have kept some of these guys, right? Like, it was wild, right? But to his credit, he has done a much better job of being patient, staying the course, having the back and forth, not just jumping on the first thing that's available, right? And I hope that that's something that continues. I hope that Valanciunas doesn't become available for trade on the 15th, and then, boom, it's like the Lakers trade for him, and it's like, oh, we give up Gabe Vincent in a first? No way. Like, you can't. If you're the Lakers, you cannot. 2 seconds, maybe even 3 seconds, sure. Like, if it's like a Rui style trade, remember how what we traded for Rui, it was like 4 seconds. If it's like one less, hey, it's 3 seconds for Valanciunas, then fine, right? I still don't think he's worth 3 seconds, especially in today's market with the new CBA and everything like that. But fine, you still have your first, right? He is a piece that can come in and make an impact on this Lakers roster. He is a piece that can come in, actually make some noise and do some damage on this Lakers roster. Fine. If you wanted to bring him in, cool. Now you don't have to worry about the backup center spot. Now you can go focus on going and getting a 3-and-D wing and maybe a guard, and boom, let's go try to win an NBA championship, right? I would immediately get on the phone with the Brooklyn Nets, and can you get like a Dennis Schroeder and Cam Johnson? Can you get a Dennis Schroeder, Cam Johnson, and Dorian Finney-Smith? That would be, at that point, trade both your first. At that point, if you get those 3 guys for both first, give a pick swap at that point. Imagine like if we ended up like by the trade deadline's finished, and we ended up with Dennis Schroeder, Dorian Finney-Smith, Cam Johnson, and Jonas Valanciunas. Like, you solved your center position. You got 2 3-and-D wings, and at that point, give whatever. Now Rob can do the Rob Pelinka, right? And just like, here's this and this and this. Like, go ahead, give up your pick swaps, give up your first. Because at that point, I think now the Lakers are a legit contender. I think they're one of, if not maybe even the best team in the NBA. I mean, if you're like top 8, right, are LeBron, AD, Dennis Schroeder, Austin Reeves, Dorian Finney-Smith, Cam Johnson, Jonas Valanciunas, and Dalton Connect. Not in any particular order, just naming the guys, right? And then you still have like Max Christie and Christian Wood. Like, you're the best team in the NBA, right? And then you still have like Cam Reddish to like be a defensive assignment guy. Do that, right? Whatever you got to do to get that done, you could do that easy, no problems. I mean, again, Valanciunas, talking $10 million. Schroeder, we'll say, is $14 million because you got to round up. Remember, Lakers have to send out more money, right? Valanciunas is making, I think, 9.9 this season. So, but again, let's call it $10 million. So $10 million for Valanciunas, say $15 million for Schroeder just to be safe, $15 million for Dorian Finney-Smith just to be safe. So there's $40 million right there, and then you'd have to send out another like $25 million in for Cam Johnson, because you got to keep in mind, you got to be able to fill out the rest of the roster, but you're getting 4 guys back, right? And you're doing D'Lo, Rui, Gabe Vincent, right? So again, what is that? Let's say $65 million you send out. So D'Lo, Rui, Gabe Vincent get you what, 46 million, right? So you're almost there, right? You got to clear in another 20 million. Do at that point, because you got Dorian Finney-Smith and you got Cam Johnson, you could add in a Jared Vanderbilt. So there's 50. So now you need to do another like 10 million. At that point, whatever you got to do. Trade Max Christie and Jalen Trufino. There you go. Right, you're doing a 6-for-4 swap. You just got to fill in one roster spot, right? Bring in Quincy Olivari, and let's go win an NBA championship, right? Like, whatever you got to do to make that work, to make that happen, I am all for it. But I just, you cannot give up a first for Valanciunas. Like, there is zero shot at all that you were giving up a first for Valanciunas. Right, like if they want a first and they will not trade you him unless they get a first, even a protect, it could be a top, like it could be essentially, top 2 protected, right? So like if it's or top, I guess the top 30 protected, whatever, right? Like it could literally basically be a second round pick. I don't care. You do not trade even a heavily protected first. Right? It could be literally like unless it falls in the last pick of the draft of the first round, it stays with the Lakers. I don't care because now you still can't trade that, right? Like so, no, you have to stay the course. You have to be patient. If you can get him for a couple seconds, get him for a couple seconds. Outside of that, no, stay the course. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Kind of mixed in the middle? Do you think like, no, like if you can get him heavy protected, top 10 protected first, you got to get it done. Again, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know either way down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Helps me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.